Well, this is only true if you understand stereotypic behaviors or actions related to the psychoactive effect of stimulant use. People on these drugs are constantly impaired, their judgments. Lithium, Depakote, valproic acid being three of these drugs causing repeated molestation while withholding a good decision. Producing a chemical-controlled visual focus of sexual stimuli. Now people are more willing to acknowledge what is being done. They have the desire not to be afraid to speak out. Although they do, they never had a clue until now the real reason this had happened to their child. Therefore, I am just as willing to stand with them. I know what the government has done. I have experienced these drug effects. I know my victims deserve to know why. They needed an answer. Therefore, I have supplied honestly. They have been left in emotional ruins for years. This applies to me as well. Whether my victims trust, believe, or rely on mine or the prosecution's testimony, I stand on my defense. Why? Even actions have a reason behind them. To overlook the cause is to ignore the reason men repeat sex abuse while never learning from consequence. A cause is defined as a reason. The problem is the media, as they are unaware of what the government knows. They know this is happening. They have broadcasts of tapes from the 60s as proof of what they knew. Current commercials depict false claims of the benefits, only showing part of the full picture of side effects. While side effects they do let you know about is enough information to ask yourself if there are any benefits at all. They claim on their drug commercials these drug effects may lead to death and other serious effects pertaining to the opposite of their claimed benefits. However, may cause is an excuse to mislead you. While everyone experiences these effects, it is not a fact of may cause. It is fact these drugs will cause these deadly effects for everyone who takes them regularly. While restricting thought leading to emotion, affects an already stable balance of being conscious. These drugs have a purpose to withhold thought, which restricts someone being conscious and aware, while affects everyone in the same way. Moving forward with facts of injustice. The right not to register. The restrictions of any mandatory stipulations imposed on offenders should become void. The government should not prevent these individuals from applying for Section 8, even HUD housing. As well, government should pay for their rent and care for the rest of their lives. I know and believe the government, mental health, and pharmaceutical companies are causing this. They are the reason individuals commit acts of a predatory nature in the first place. Why do I know this? As I have gone through these effects, I committed a sex crime. While I did, I have noticed these effects going through them, as they have affected me. I am now explaining to you how they did, even as I am now clear on how to express what I know. I have good reason to explain them, as your children could be mental health's next victims. Therefore, as I am confident and clear about what I remember going through, I can now explain these effects, while helping you decide for yourself whether you want to go through what I had. However, I have deep concern for the safety of your children. I hope you believe every word I have written. Moreover, I know some will continue turning a blind eye. The question should not be, who is in control of the person? Is the person in control of themselves? The question, with an answer, stays. What is in control of the person? Well, When something is in control of you, it is in control of your decisions. Your choice to commit a sex offense is not your decision. You are not in control. A drug is. Therefore, these drugs, while in control of the person, form a decision without offering an alternative decision. Moreover, causing an unwise decision to continue molesting children. This control allows others to control the ones taking them by its ability to remove individuality while options and beliefs are withheld. Their focus turns into bad thoughts and desires, causing a controlled focus of sexual interest. Without giving the individual a choice, as good options cannot withhold a bad one. These drugs force a sexual response by having control of the person, then not allowing them to have proper boundaries, while withholding caring. Withholding the Holy Spirit causes the loss of desire for changing to a more proper response. The loss of supplying an alternative possibility creates a withholding of reason and subconscious awareness that what they are about to do has consequences not just for them. These drugs have a spellbinding hold on bad desire, causing repeated crime to occur. Holding our complete focus, attention. Withholding God's Spirit prevents us from hearing His voice, understanding reason, acknowledging, and choosing good decisions by individual choice. This prevents the ability for the person to resist temptation. In all categories of bad desire, every person can choose to fight temptation. Moreover, to not give an individual a chance to prove their capability. By controlling them with chemicals, you prevent the heart from receiving and sending a signal, transmitting epiphanies to the brain. You are showing yourself to have no genuine compassion for them, not trusting them they will ever be able to make a good decision. How do you know, or how can you predict whether a person will continue to choose to commit an act again? You do not. The only one who can predict this is the one who realizes they have personal options. While knowing his options are withheld, as God cannot help them decide to do the right thing. This is not your choice. It is theirs. To question their intentions by focusing on the act, not on the cause, taking a drug that now gives you control and choosing for them. You are showing yourself not to be compassionate. However, leaning on fear of their action, as though they are somehow a threat. You cannot predict if someone will do the same thing again. Who are you to judge the heart? To peer into the soul? As though to know the thoughts of the person, even their heart's condition. How do you know this? You do not. To know the heart is to acknowledge sincere guilt, empathy, regret for the past. To know its pain, knowing its concerns are not for itself. However, for those it hurt. I have proven this myself. I have not had a conviction of any kind in 23 years. When it comes to what I speak of in my writing, like I said, it is up to the individual if they accept God's help. I wanted God's help. He did not condemn me or threaten me with punishment. No. He corrected what was done within me by showing me the reason for what was done. This epiphany gave me a reason to change. Therefore, I acknowledged His Spirit. I chose to research the history of mental health. I chose to fight for others, not just myself. For me to have the ability to care about others, I had to choose God's desire for me. To let Him correct what was being done to me. By this, my deep desire is for others to acknowledge the cause. Why are we so concerned with being in control of others, yet cannot seem to control our own response? Fear of violence has overtaken the one judging the person. Therefore, the one doing the judging compels the offended to believe they have no right to feel offended, as if they are the real concern. The real issue is the one doing the judging. They have the same fears of being misunderstood, not understanding why. They cannot control being misunderstood. Moreover, instead of acknowledging the choices they have made, as they have offended the person, while apologizing with sincerity of heart for how they have offended them, they compel them into taking something that allows them to control the situation by forcing drugs into the person. This is where neither side can take responsibility for how they have responded. One will feel forced to change while a drug's effects overpower personal control, while the person realizes they now have no power or choice other than to give in to this control. This angers them, as they know they have a right to feel the way they do. They feel their decisions are individualized, yet are someone else's, while their decisions are stripped of them by the overwhelming power of a drug. Not able to decide how they react. While it should not be this way, is to force on someone what they would not decide. This all starts with the first offense, by not acknowledging who is wrong, when both are. Moreover, it takes two to argue. Simply put, controlling someone with drugs. You are not genuinely caring about their right to choose as an individual. You are not loving them by not allowing them to learn differences between two options of consequence. We should love, even our enemies. Love them while applying loving guidance, not controlling discipline. By making bad decisions, we learn what good ones are. By making good decisions, we recognize the importance of who we are, what we are, and most importantly who love is and what love is and means, as we decide we deserve it. This is how we learn the differences, not while drugged. Withholding these options, confused and impaired, as real meaning cannot be understood while this cannot be applied. Not forceful while overtaking our decisions, even overpowering the person. If you do not want them agitated, do not force your control over them. Love is not forceful. It is gentle in its approach to disciplining. To redirect someone by way of positive influence. Let them make their own decisions. You may not like them. Moreover, they are not yours to make. Knowing this is love. Allowing this is love. If you genuinely care, be the change, not the issue. Do not manipulate them into choosing. Do not deceive as you withhold the truth from them. Keep nothing from them, not even what they need most, truth. You are not their force of change, God is love. This is how I know my mom loves me. She did not try to protect me when I did what I did. She knew I made a bad choice. Through this I realized she loves me. She let me learn from it. In the same manner God let me suffer. I was raped in prison, more than once. Although this occurred, what makes me an overcomer is not hating my abuser. It is loving them despite the abuse. It is choosing to forgive. We only destroy ourselves if we hold on to bitterness, resentfulness, hate, a vengeful heart. The beauty of forgiving is we have peace within ourselves as we let go of our hands around their neck. However, to not forgive, we are not giving God free will to heal our broken heart, to control the pain overtaking our lives. We are giving it to the abuser and abuse. My mother did not try to defend me, use a disability to question a cause, or try to minimize my choice. No. She let me learn, while I suffered consequences for my actions. Therefore, consequence, good or bad, gives light for change. Meaning, wisdom. With wisdom comes knowledge. With knowledge comes change of future action. While overpowering the person, by physical force we are compelling them as injection makes clear nothing can change the result. What now results in the force of injection overpowers the possibility love supplies to correct the course in changing the outcome. By making them dependent on mental health, as if they are more capable of making better decisions in how they respond. The issue is trust and belief. We cannot control others by force and rely on this to help improve their lives, as they only lose trust as they are forced. The only way we can help them is to acknowledge our own responses. By doing this, in time they respond differently. Therefore, acknowledging ours, we are teaching them by example. If we choose not to take ownership, this will also teach them to do the same. We cannot rely on fear, hypocrisy, even hypocritical ideologies as mental health think they are wiser than God, while no one is any different than anyone. While trusting they genuinely care about us and are concerned for our well-being. As we believe true understanding is in training to manage our trauma. We believe they are more able to control their own behaviors, while believing they can teach us these self-help methods, as if they are any different than anyone. While they ignore, they have the same issues, fear. How can fear drive out fear? Even hiding fear with a covering of deception does not mean you are without fear as the one you claim to care about. How can an acknowledgement of fear tutor people not to fear? Then again, how can a sinner remove sin from a sinner? The only one who can remove sin is the one who has never fallen into temptation, Jesus. Whether being overly fearful or not, people are no different than one another, as even acknowledging a fearful thought is without being content. Even acceptance, we cannot change the outcome by acknowledging things causing us to fear. Moreover, not fearing only requires acknowledging a thought God is in control of circumstances, while accepting them as they are. Fear is cast out. We all deal with the same things. However, not all are accepting, even with things we do not like. Therefore, this is how verbal arguments or even physical actions start. Where we are trusting in fear of being hurt, so are they. Choosing love over fear is the best way to conquer our fears and concerns. While accepting God protects us, we put fear aside. However, not acknowledging He does. We are choosing to fear over acknowledging love protects us. Why give fear control? We should be wiser than that. Emotional spellbinding. Emotional spellbinding is commonly described as knowing how you feel about something in your head but cannot find it in your heart. It may feel like you do not care about anything or anyone anymore. In a sense, you have no emotions about anything or anyone or even things you should or used to have an interest in. In this case, criminal characteristics overtake the personality of the individual. They lose the clarity to care about the consequences of their actions. They stop caring about how their actions affect them, as well as people around them. The withholding of these good qualities, making clear the cause of these psychoactive properties, hold a control of fear, agitated, non-tolerant state, while withholding control from the person as a drug controls a decision. Driving emotional instability as controlling the person withholds an alternative decision, producing repetitive actions. While a simple effect of sedation confuses a decision not to respond. This control can drive a continued negative response, without ability for personal resistance, while holding in place an act without good reason to restrain oneself. Withholding a natural balance of states of consciousness, homeostasis, into a controlled state of heterostasis. The brain has three sets of conscious motivations, wills, spiritual directives, guided by spiritual beliefs. Through receiving epiphanies, transmitted from the heart, where the soul collects augmentations or fragments of wisdom/knowledge. From the spiritual, a place unseen or understood as non-physical evidence of universal wisdom. Passing through a connection, even disconnection, between human ideologies, and an origin of eternal wisdom of God, truth. Spellbinding is more damaging than most want to acknowledge. Spellbinding leaves a person without caring about self, interest, or those of others. Then at the same time not caring how our actions affect us and others around us. Giving up on trying. When I give up, I did not want to. However, making even an effort, these drugs overpowered me, forcing me to give in to giving up. Forcing me to give up while binding to my motivation. Withholding even my courage. As motivation disappeared, even stride. Therefore, instead of trying, I gave in to the drug withholding effort. A chemical force overpowering the mind. Desire. Motivation. Confidence. Self-identity. Individuality. Self-awareness becomes eliminated in the mind. The brain goes into standby mode, and the person thinks and feels they have nothing to offer, nothing to pursue. Therefore, giving up. Never being pursuant of their goals. Nothing matters anymore. Not even having a reliant ambition, even achievement in what brings them joy, succeeding. Becoming slaves to others. This is true for an excessive number of people. They give up while others do not. Why? However, achievement with what could be never comes, as desire fades over time. Yes, this is a personal choice. However, with drugs having a basis on dosages that are meant to prolong this sedative effect, we feel the prolonged control of giving up on life. A confused, controlled, suppressed desire. No longer willing to focus on what allows us to enjoy life. What naturally makes us happy. Never taking a process of self-interest. Never taking on courage. While believing in ourselves we can achieve them. Never taking a thought that no matter what comes our way, the disappointments, trials, challenges we face does not matter more than meeting our goal. We will never understand self-ability, as we have lost our freedom to be. We lose good motivation and desire while drugged, not bad. We are forcing someone to give up on everything, causing them to rely on everyone else. Rather than having the reliance, awareness, they are able. With desire comes effort. With motivation comes willingness. With courage comes achievement. Without clarity and effort, how can a person feel good about themselves? Instead, being dependent on everyone else to make you feel good about you. Why should anyone need to believe this is what it takes to feel good about yourself, withholding opinions from someone as though other people's goals matter more than your own? As though they want you not to care more about theirs, empathy for theirs, as you have deep meaning for yours. They do not share yours. Therefore, do not care about your dreams except their own. Moreover, while drugged we experience confusion. Finding love in sex, so we think. As if these drugs take away our pain permanently. As if joy is found in a pill. I would rather suffer joyfully than have temporary relief, as my mind is unclear of the real meaning of love. It does not have to be this way. However, mental health knows these drugs cause a loss of desire and motivation. While taking joy in affecting us this way, they will never tell the patient this, even before they prescribe them. The very purpose of these drugs is to withhold options regarding a good decision, motivation to do things right. Awareness of this is to have the ability to care, while emotions supply a feeling leading us to a reason for how important our responses are affecting others. If you lose desire to act on what you think or feel, then you will not lash out and hurt others, so they think. However, this ideology does not just apply to bad desires, but good as well. If we continue down this road, thinking as mental health does, we all will keep our insecurities. I have found from experience that very fight, a fight to the finish, I say. A fight for my dreams, not willing to back down. For most we just want security, others want safety. I needed a clear mind. Therefore, making better decisions. However, with drug effects I lost all these good qualities. Mental health's drugs leads to the loss of individuality and a choice to freely decide. I lost faith. With faith comes motivation, which leads to effort. With faith comes effort, which leads to positive decisions. With faith comes the desire to respond with love. With faith comes a courageous attitude, which brings a positive result. With faith comes a positive result leading to confidence it will come again. With faith comes confidence for a better future. Why? We are learning good responses build our self-esteem, and self-esteem builds character. When I was sedated, I lost the feeling of confident self-awareness as a process of confusion took over. I did not understand it while these drugs withheld it. Therefore, how could I apply it? Where I could feel confident in knowing I have conducted something, and by doing so, feel good about my efforts, while allowing these efforts to mold my confidence. Instead, I lost trust in myself, and gave up on the one thing making me able, courage. All is lost while on these drugs. What would you do if you lost the ability to believe you can do anything you put your mind to? I am angry they did this to me. I could have been successful then. However, being dependent on others, my focus is on how others can meet my needs, instead of how I or God can meet them. Drugging someone can cause anger when you do not get what you asked for in the way you would like. This dependency becomes compulsive and without giving up reliance. There is a phrase that shocks me till this day: if you want something done right, do it yourself. This is so true. It even shows itself in my concepts for SGI Global. With confident desire while I applied myself, I achieved a finished arrhythmia without anyone showing me how. I just designed my own version of how. Courage does not cause nor produce negative behaviors. While you are meeting your own needs, you are content. When I have desire, I make better choices than when I have none. Moreover, this is what the government wants: for you to give up on trying. When we give up, they take over, control. First you give up in your mind. Then you give up on yourself. Then God. Then people. Leading to suicide. If you give up, you have no desire to fight. Therefore, mental health loves that you now cannot. They do not want you suing them. Nor do they want you to be aware of what has and is being done to you, even people like you. While you cannot fight with courage, they can control you. Their sly and cunning words twist yours. While you are confused, they make you believe you are dumb, and the reason is you were born with it. While keeping you in bondage, you cannot find the words needed to express your need for freedom from their control. You need love. However, even while drugged, there is a need not filling a void. They now have control. They lead your life, not the other way around. This also frustrates me. I know now, I can lead my own. While drugged, I realized I was dependent. An individual can have positive and negative desire. Moreover, both are meant for good reason. Their attitude toward you becomes twisted. While believing you must be stopped. While negative is negative for all people. Dreadful things serve a good purpose. Even bad things teach us not to decide the same option again. While being cautious leads to self-awareness and not deciding to do the same thing again. However, mental health loves to label caution as paranoia. Using paranoia to distract attention off your concern you have with them, back on you. For me, God would not have created it. While not serving a good purpose, I acknowledge as God does. Moreover, with these drugs they do not restrict a bad way to decide, nor thoughts leading to bad feelings. They stop us from caring. While we care either way without them. This is a good thing to care. Caring motivates us to change what we care about. Moreover, caring with confidence brings a courageous attitude. While bringing desire to fight in the right way. While making a difference. Instead of leaning on an idea, we have a right to take the law into our own hands, in the process. Making you a slave to people never brings hope. It removes hope. As we are without a reason to be hopeful. Not understanding why people do not want to be friends with us. Is not to understand we are an individual. Needing to be confident in who God says you are. Nothing anyone says nor does should matter to you more than who God says you are and did for you. Nothing anyone says matters but what God knows. Depending on people as they realize with confidence, they can depend on themselves. Remains the answer for why you have no friends. They do not like nor agree with laziness. No one wants to meet your needs all the time. They just believe you are a taker, instead of a contributor. This makes them reluctant to think of your need. People do not want to support people, they want to support themselves. When a person is not like this because of a drug, can they relate to people who understand the importance of self-dependence? No. Therefore, making it hard to be friends. You end up having low self-esteem. People choose to be friends with those who have confidence in themselves. Displaying and believing it is important to them. Knowing they can support themselves and their family brings confidence and makes them feel good about their efforts. No one likes a complainer, nor a taker. Part of finding a wife, even a husband, remains a need either one has. Are you a dependable provider? It is not just about emotional support. A person may be exceptionally good at this. However, if not financially supportive, we may not meet both the needs of the person and what we are looking for in a spouse. Those that are not confident lose friends who are confident. To them yourself, identity cannot relate to theirs. Therefore, how you see yourself, they will see you. Accepting being lazy and confident being lazy is not a desirable trait. To choose to accept either as a lifestyle is a decision with individual consequences. Moreover, we do not have a choice being confident as we are on these drugs. While they change beliefs and strip us of caring about anything other than our own needs, we have lost feelings of desire that motivate us not to live a lazy lifestyle. How you respond, while these pharmaceuticals are controlling your decisions, is not natural. You are not in control of your actions. Nor being lazy as these drugs make you comfortable being so. This choice is based on the desire to motivate yourself to act in a separate way, while ignoring the wrong way. Moreover, this is an excellent quality to have good motivation. The concern with not possessing these qualities is related to these drugs removing these qualities. Having confidence in your personal, natural instincts, while your mind is clearly understanding differences between right and wrong thinking, is a great gift from God. However, our United States government has chosen to violate their oath of office by not allowing the possibility of free thought to be granted as a right of the American people. Drugging us is withholding these rights. Therefore, our freedom. They have violated what they swore to protect. The Constitution. What hypocrites, unjustifiable and lawless they have become. They are cowards. While fearful of our decision, while I author this book, they are fearful of what I have explained to you. They themselves want to keep hidden from you. While knowing what has been written, they can do nothing anymore to hide the truth. They have chosen to protect themselves, while not admitting to what they have done to children and their families. Instead, they protect themselves by not telling the truth to us. While afraid of us, we will hurt them for what they've done. How cowardly and unjust they are. As I am not a coward for authoring this book. What does this say about our leadership? Well, they are not stronger than the truth, while God is stronger than lies. In God's perfect timing, the public will hear the truth.